like this, very passionate, like, I believe in Sentinels. This is the time. This is
give it
your
now.
mark.
Do it now.
This is your major to finally make it. We'll give it in game 2. We'll give it after they win 2-0, obviously. That's exactly what's going to happen. But Sentinels now, they need to play upset. We have only had one series where a game was taken, or a series was taken by the lower seeded team up against the high seed. So this is it. Are you going to be the Obi-Wan, or are you going to be Anakin here in this story, Sentinels? You got to make your mark.
I mean, I don't think you want to be Anakin. He really took the L.
You don't want to be. Yeah, I mean,
he took the L.
Immortals have the high ground, right? They have the high ground, but you never know.
Well, yeah. So, don't underestimate their power. Certainly could be brutal. But there's the Nami getting banned away by the Sentinels. I think this is kind of what they were banning against in their first match. They were banning against the Nami and picking up that support pool and sort of trying to take them away. Rakan, yeah, there it goes. Olaf and Riven being banned against Sentinels.
Wanting to get rid of MTS. They remember what happened last time. They're like, not happening again. And I like this. Teams are finally banning away Ashe. We saw it in the last series as well. We saw it in Sentinel's game in the first day, against Jotu's Cuter. Such an important piece. A very safe laner can play away without any support available to them, and allows for a potential engage here. So now with Varus taken off the table, Xin Zhao is here for Sentinels. And with Senna there, I wonder if they're going to do the same thing here from Sentinels. No, they're going to pick up Camille and TF immediately.
I mean, both very, very strong picks. We saw the priority time and time again onto Camille. Lee Sin and Gragas going to be answered. Again, Gragas pretty decent into this Camille. You can jump in towards that hook shot. You can try and get that pressure on towards the backline, but you go... No, that's... Oh, hang on a minute. Who's playing who? But you've got the Orianna Galio combo.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know where this draft is going anymore.
Oh my goodness me.
Color me lost. This may be Orianna with Galio support in the bot lane. But and you have obviously Camille in the jungle. Oh, we're doing it. We said we don't need marksmen in this household. We don't need them anymore. We're getting right into draft here. Hoon on Ziggs. Wow. Not the best, at least historically, but this is a very strong bot lane here for Charm and for Goom.
I mean, this is the arena to get the upset. This is a draft from Sentinels, right? This is a draft and a half. Already massive pressure in the mid lane, early game, trying to just clear that wave, shunt it in, and get Prio onto those scuttlers for the rest of the game.
We want instant vision procs. We want all of the vision as soon as possible, very early on. And what does this mean now for Sentinels? Now that they no longer have a traditional marksman in the Dragon lane, they will have a lot of really great team fight, but Michael Udall getting ran out of mid lane means we'll not have access to this wave. Really good job from Immortals early on. And I mean, I'm kind of scared here for our prediction, because this is something that we see in the C region where they're playing like Janna and Gragas in the bot lane, but like this is a whole new spin on that.
It's interesting. This is a lot of control, right? There's so much zonal pressure from these two, but early levels a little bit more difficult for them than maybe they would have liked. At the moment, it looks like mid still just getting duked back and forth just a little bit. Scuttle is just about to spawn, so they are going to be coming on in anytime now. But no, they want to engage the fight. Sheesh. Going in, getting the knockbacks, exhausted. Going to be flashing forwards as well. Tries to charge on through, but yikes, going to be able to stay alive on the Lee Sin. However, Scuttle and Prio in the bot side, and potentially even being able to challenge on the top.
You got to be really careful here. You see that Beg is moving down, or moving up here to the top lane, but they're able to bully MTS away. They get to crash this wave, and not much doing now for both of these teams. It's a small lead for Immortals, but it's just because they've been pulling multiple members of Sentinels across the map, specifically in the mid and the Dragon lane. So bullying out, and even with a small deficit, I think Sentinels are still obviously in a very good position, and come to that 4-minute mark. That team fight needs to be perfect. They're not going to be as strong as Immortals, so I think they should just be looking to give up whichever one Immortals goes for.
MTS and Araki Zoro going pretty even right now in their lane. Both going to base, both going to get that first purchase on board. Probably looking at tank up for that Gragas. Wouldn't be too surprised to see the Phage start to come on through But no, they're going to stay in lane. They actually want to clear another wave. Mid lane pressure potentially being felt as Beggs moves up. Yet again, a very heavy roam coming through from this Gallagher.
This is a draft where I feel for Sentinels that, I mean, it's great for what they want to do, which is, like we've said, play for team fights, play for later game objectives, play for some of these dragons, but it's very, very greedy. If you get punished in the early game, you will definitely not be able to come back. Orianna without a lot of gold definitely hurts. It's one of the reasons why mid lane is so impactful. You get a lot of experience, get a lot of gold to yourself. Obviously the most important role on the map just because of positionally where it is. But if IMT do not get off to an early start, they're going to slowly get choked out, and they're not going to be able to, you know, take control of the chokes, which is something that Ziggs loves to do, but unable to do that. Ziggs is a very sad little Yordle.
The vision lines as well coming through from Sentinels, though. The vision on the Raptors, they're going to be able to track this Lee Sin very, very effectively. Tribrush is there. You've got the two wards on the top side as well. It's going to be very difficult right now for Yikes on this Lee Sin to have an impact towards these lanes. Has to just fall back to farming.
And not much doing here. We've got a really slow game here, which is honestly a great time to talk about some of these players. We've got Baron and Dragon spawning, and we see that it looks like Sentinels are trying to make their way over to this Rift Herald, but I don't think you want to contest this. Sentinels, you want to scale. You do not want to team fight right now. Just let them have this objective. Go for a Dragon. Do something other than try to fight this, because you will end up losing, and it's going to hurt your ability to win this game.
Twist of Fate in the Drake side as well, so, I mean, fair enough, maybe, but it looks like Immortals going to back some of their players off to move down towards this Dragon side. Try and maybe get a cross-map trade for Sentinels, get that Drake on board, but you've got Ziggs and Gragas to worry about.
It's a little slow right now, and what I'm worried about is if IMT, if they really wanted to, if Hoon is able to poke this out, could potentially just kind of like keep them stuck here, but MTS now getting focused.
Okay, maybe not. Charm actually going low. MTS needs to back off just that little bit. Turret fully healthy right now, and the wave not quite there, but the Herald getting dropped early, trying to trade it out. Drake side potentially vulnerable as well, as Gragas looking to get dived here. MTS fully backs off as a dive going on the bot lane. There's the stun center with a cross-map presence and a lot of damage being sent on towards Michael Udall. Zoro just staying in, staying alive. Belly slam a little bit too far forwards maybe, and has to fall back, but that is a great result for the Gragas in the Drake side.
I like this for Immortals just in general. They know that they need to be ahead early on. They know that they need to keep this gold up and start to balloon more and more of this advantage, but they need to get more. Like, we need to accelerate this game if you're on the side of Immortals. Obviously, a kill would really help in doing that. We haven't seen one yet, but the fact of the matter is, the longer this game goes on, Immortals should lose more and more access to objectives. They get choked out, and they slowly start to get outscaled. Now, it's not all gloom and doom. Lucian is still okay later on into the game. You still have Senna, who has basically infinite scaling as we go further, and Ziggs is always a menace when it comes to being able to take turrets with that Satchel Bomb, but you look across the members, and it's just the tools that Sentinels have as the game goes further.
It's staying alive. It's holding on. That's the difficult part, right? If you allow the Lee Sin to find these openings, which is why that vision line was so important, but that's now faded away just a little bit. They're going to have to reestablish that. You can see them dropping the river wards all over the place. They've managed to keep a lot of their outer turrets alive for these first 7 minutes. And that is really good news. They lost one to the Herald, but they traded that for a Drake across the map.
Oh, but, I mean, Rest just took a massive trade in mid lane, so I like this coming out from Immortals. They know that they can make a play onto the side lanes, and you want to break down turrets.
Ooh, getting the kick, the flashback under the turret. Michael Udell, there's the taunt under the turret, onto a low HP target as well. Sheesh chiming on in, and there's first blood going through for Sheesh as well on this Camille, the guy who you want to see pop off for the Sentinels. What a turnaround on the dive.
Good
Michael
job,
Udell.
and they may be trying to find something onto Charm.
You're looking for more. There's the stun. There's the lockup. There's the damage. And Sheesh with a second. Taunt looking to go forwards, but forces the flash back again.
Here's
Destiny
Rest.
Gate is opened, and in comes Rest with the pressure on this Orianna. There's the shockwave to keep them under turret.
Oh my God,
Sheesh
he
doesn't
lives!
even die. And there's a low HP Lucian underneath this turret. Ziggs is moving in. They know Gragas is there, but they just want to back off. They have had such a good fight. They do not want to spoil it. 3 kills for Sentinels.
After the hero's entrance from beginnings, you just leave Immortals. They get way too greedy, and Sentinels are able to make a perfect response. They just wanted turret plates. They just wanted to crash the wave and maybe force Twisted Fate away. But you have too many members able to respond to that. And the fact that Rest is able to get there just completely turns this fight on its head. They're able to bully out multiple members of Immortals. And now, like we were saying, they're just stalling out on gold. All of the gold. Mid lane is even for Twisted Fate thanks to his passive and just how many resources Michael Udall has been able to play with. Top lane is looking good, although it's kind of a wash in terms of the matchup. The fact that this Orianna is anywhere near this Lucian and gold is worrying here for Sentinels as they're trying to make a play. They're trying to play for priority over this Drake. It's up in 20 seconds. And I think we have a replay of that last fight, but it's going to be a really dicey one here as to see them play under the turret here. They're also in the picture. They're going to be able to grab themselves a turret.
Yeah, she's just going so low, but the pressure from Rest roaming down, being on that flank as the Orianna, great news coming on through. Goom, lucky to be alive there, but still a great fight for Sentinels. They get the turret, they've got Dragon Prior mid, a little bit of pressure being felt, but the flanks can come in, and that's going to be taken care of.
John, you know it's a really good way to nullify the bot lane and make sure that you don't really get punished?
What is a really good way to nullify the bot lane and make sure you don't really get punished?
You just don't play bot laners. You just play all the solo laners that you need, and you just ignore the fact that there's a range disadvantage. So it's fine. Gonna make a play. Yikes, can he get in with Sonic Wave? Here comes the steal, potentially taking it slow. Sentinels, if they lose this, it sets them back just a little bit.
There comes the bomb from the Ziggs, but it's not really doing too much. Their Rest stays completely healthy in the back. The guard is at the front, at the forefront as well, but NTS goes low, and the Sentinels starting to crumble a little bit. Hero's entrance to keep them alive. There's the shockwave, and Michael Udall starting to chunk into the fight. Senna looking to try and keep everyone nice and healthy, nice and stealth away, but there's a gold card over onto the Ziggs. Hoon goes low, goes a little bit in danger. But a great result for the Immortals to be able to get those trades 1-1. Found, but the Drake goes to Sentinels.
A fantastic start. They not only get it, but then they stop Immortals from being able to do anything. Lee Sin, I say that, they're making a dive.
Hoon goes low, but they stay healthy, stay alive. Sheesh flashes away from underneath the turret, and they back off yet again. Baron now on the cards.
It's time to fight, ladies and gentlemen. Charm, you're so lucky that Beg just said, I'm not fighting that. Yikes, gets into the Baron pit, but gets the flash out, no longer has the Dragon's Rage kick. Immortals kind of feeling like they're a little bit lost in this game right now. They're not that far behind. You look at the gold, you're like, it's only 1,000, but it's feeling so much more than that. 4-1 in kills, you're still kind of even in turrets, and the need for acceleration is, very heavy here for Immortals.
Now is the time that Sentinels need to keep their foot on the gas as well, though. It's difficult. You've got the Camille now with 2 finished items popping onto the Renekton as well. Item spikes coming through. I mean, for both teams, sure, but Sentinel's win condition is getting to late game. Hoon just getting caught. There's the Hextech ultimate, and that is one dead. Yordle goes boom. And Sentinels pick up yet another crucial component of the Immortals roster.
They get to push into mid lane, and now, if they want, they can make this dive. Look at what Michael Udall is doing onto Goom. Oh no, and yikes, pops the stopwatch. They got the Destiny Gate, we're coming in.
And they are not stopping either way. They open the door, they force themselves through. The turret's going low, they're not going to pick it up here, but they get the pick onto the jungler. This might be the Baron call, or they might just want to continue to push up towards this turret, keep their Renekton in a side lane, and just win purely on siege. Look at Ben. Oh my goodness me, Begs with the 2-player taunt. Going to be able to find one. A little bit more pressure on the sidelines. Charm goes down. Naraki Zoro tries to find something with this Gragas. Tries to find Begs, but the team is there, and there's no way you're getting through that line. They're able to find yet another kill. Stunned up under the turret. They can back off, and this has got to be the Baron position at least.
They can start it. I don't know if they do a lot of damage to it. I think I'd rather just use the Baron as kind of a leverage point. Say, hey, Immortals, you have to come and stop us, or we're going to take the Baron. And they want to force a fight around these chokes, especially onto the river ramp going into Baron. So important for them to take control of this. But MTS should be able to get away, should be able to just kind of walk this off. Sentinels just look so good. And talking with Michael Udall after the first major, they were obviously a little bit down about losing out to Cloud9, but I mean, we're seeing now this is a revitalized roster who I kind of jokingly made the reference in the hashtag, but I said hashtag Sentinels, we scale. And it seems like finally it's taken them to major, but we're here.
Look at that. An excellent flash taunt coming through from Beggs, able to find the gap in the vision, making the flank work. Phenomenal performance from the Sentinel support there. This guy has been on the ball all day. I mean, roaming up into the mid lane early, keeping that pressure on. We've seen him now make time after time really crucial positional plays coming through. I mean, the guy's a star in the support.
Exactly. I think Beggs has just always looked really good for Sentinels. In most of their games, I think has been one of the most, if not the consistent member alongside MTS. So I'm glad to see that this is kind of the style of performance you get to see from Sentinels. And specifically now, into the third major. Yeah, it's cool that it didn't happen earlier, but now we're starting with a dragon fight here. Gold card comes out.
Oh dear, the bomb finds nothing.
There's
The
the kick.
Sentinels just open. Nothing is going to hit. There's the kick. They're trying to get away. The Destiny Gate has been opened. Sheesh goes low. Actually drops the Hextech ultimate. And no way that Zora is getting out of that one. Has to flash away, though. Damage is there. Michael Udall maybe a little bit overextended here. Gonna have to flash to get away. Needs to get away from this Lee Sin. Unfortunately for him, though, there's a Sonic Wave. Drops the Honey Fruit.
He lives!
And over the wall comes MTS. They sail through the team, and so do the cards from the deck. Twisted Fate able to shut one down. Yikes goes low, and the Drake can get started by Sentinels.
Michael Udall, I know this was a team that you were already having and it got acquired by Sentinel, but it's absolutely stacked at this point here in the third major. The ultimate comes out from Ziggs, but it's not enough. A third Drake. And imagine your eyes right now on Immortals. You're 6,000 gold down. It's 9-1, but the objectives are going to make that feel way worse. Ocean Soul healing that you're going to get. You now need to get heal cut for it. Mountain Drake giving you a shield out of combat. Good luck breaking that when you're already behind in gold and already behind in damage. Sentinels looking to make a strong statement here and book their ticket into the North American Regional Championships.
This is textbook Wild Rift, right? You cannot think of a better way to have played. I mean, I challenge you to think of a better way to have sort of played this game. Sure, their early game weak, but that was planned. Their draft said that, right? It said that they were going to wait for these phases, for these objectives to come through, and they have done everything on the beat, by the book, and they've nailed it. Credit to them, they've done phenomenally. What? Okay, come on. Come on, Yikes.
All right, guys. Yikes has been rather disrespectful with some of the Lee Sin positioning. You saw right there, like...
His plays have been living up to his name.
Oh, wow.
Not great.
All right,
oh, God.
That's good. That's the biting wit I was expecting.
You've got to expect that.
Right.
Hang on a minute. On the back line, one of the Sentinels players gets Guardian Angeled by Baron. And actually, they've been able to find another pick. What has happened there? Sentinels maybe getting a little bit too big for their boots. They get the Baron, and now comes the turnaround. Rest is still healthy.
Oh my God,
Udall's
MTS.
alive, and 4 versus 5. They just turn everything on. The engine's roaring. Flames shooting out the tailpipe. They motor their way down mid.
MTS, how did you live that, man? This is, I mean... That's okay, never mind. I know exactly why. It's because he's using the broken combination of Sterix and Stoneplate. This is going to be the end of the game. They can protect their minions. Sentinels find a game 1 victory. And I don't want to get my hopes up quite yet. But Immortals did just go down as the #1 seed to Sentinels, who they've historically beaten time and time again in the majors.
Coming through for the Drakes on the side of the Sentinels. At the moment, Immortals sticking to their blue side, and the bans starting to come in now.
All right. Well, after that, we have so much that could change, right? You're saying, does Orianna get banned? And now the matter of fact is 2 players can play Orianna, which is just annoying to think about. It's like, oh, Orianna's usually just a Michael Udall thing. Oh no, Rest plays it too. This is annoying. Well, damn.
Well, there we go. The first ban coming in, the Riven, going to be taken off the cards. This is the first ban they had last draft as well. So not too much changing here. Immortals may be thinking user error on this one then if they're not changing up their draft strategy, but they still have 2 more bans to go.
I'm okay with picking user error on this one because this is definitely Immortals. You're on blue side. You have all the priority in the world. I don't know. So there's 2 things here. Senna is really strong, and Charm has also looked good on Senna. However, I really like when there's a lot of engage for this team, specifically coming from the support role. I think Araki Zora on this Gragas. Gragas is a great secondary engage and can really help when you're chasing a team out of a choke or chasing them out of a team fight or just trying to displace some of the immobile carries on the enemy team. But there wasn't all that much. We didn't see it all that much, and I want to see Araki Zora either on something like the Renekton, like we've seen them in the past, or, pull out yield counter pocket pick, pull out the Malphite, just bite the bullet and say, I'm playing the Rockman.
Rock solid. See if you can roll on down the hill and stop yourself gathering any moss. It's not going to be easy, though. It's a pick that, you're right, it's a comfort pick. There are ways to play against that. But Camille getting banned, that was not banned. That was, in fact, played last time around. So there's a departure, the second ban for the Immortals. Obviously, seen being played by Sheesh in that jungle role. An incredible performance so far on the Camille jungle in general from Sheesh today.
And now we get to see what Immortals' priorities are. Are they going to ban away the Ashe from Rest, or are they going to take Olaf away because they really don't want to play against Sheesh on it yet again? I think those are hard questions to answer, and whichever one, I think they're justified in going for it when it comes to that ban.
Still waiting for it. There's the center.
Neither. Okay.
There we go. All right. So.
All right.
Sure. Great. Cool.
Sure.
I mean, why not?
First pick it then. I mean, that's what that tells me. We're first picking Olaf. We're first picking. Actually, never mind. I don't want to first pick Ashe. I never want to first pick Ashe ever. But if I have to in solo queue, I will. Champion is just okay. But Sentinels, they're the ones to ban Olaf. All right.
Wow. That's a good. Well, I say good. I think it's an interesting call. I mean, obviously they were predicting that Olaf would be first picked, and that was what Immortals were going for. That leaves open the Varus. I mean, you said that it's such a solid priority dragon laner for that position. Give it over to Gum and see what can get done. It's great at poke, great at suppression, but that does allow the Lee Sin TF pick for the Sentinels.
Good. Getting TF, finally. We're seeing it again. After Major 2, everybody learned their lesson. They're like, okay, TF is broken. We're not letting this champion through. We're just going to ban it every game. And if it gets through, then the team usually ends up winning with it. But I like this. Strong solo lanes. And against Renekton, Immortals, they're kind of falling into it, I think. I think they're falling into what Sentinels want to do here with picking Orianna and Renekton.
That's interesting. The Jarvan getting picked.
Wow.
I can understand the Galio. I think it's a really solid pick, but Jarvan, okay. This is something we haven't really seen too much. I think specifically on Sheesh's champion pool.
All right. I'm excited. John, we've got some fun stuff. This could be either Lee Sin solo lane, but we've seen a lot of Jarvan in a solo lane. Either mid lane does really good into control mages. It is like an incredibly old school matchup. And against Araki Zora's Renekton, this is going to be a spicy matchup. I said I wanted them to fight, and with Pantheon in the jungle and EU special, it's exactly what I wanted.
Look at the Pantheon and think about what his ultimate is capable of, right? This is a champion that they are designing specifically to counter this destiny, right? That feels like what it is to me. The global presence, the impact into a team fight, they're on a pretty similar level here. If the Pantheon can get ahead, get some kills, get some pressure, then great. But the difficulty is, Michael Udals does so much damage in these fights afterwards. Pantheon maybe needs to tank up a little bit and be a little bit more of a front line. So there's where the discrepancy could fall.
All it is just kill someone. And I like this from Hoon, getting a lot of early damage out onto Michael Udal, who did end up going for kind of the aggressive rune choice in Electrocute instead of Fleet Footwork, or something like the Conqueror that Hoon has. But it's exactly what I want to see. You have aggressive laners across the board. Renekton wants to get in there and fight. Varus does a lot of damage at range, which Sentinels do not deal with particularly well. They want to engage. The longer that they stay out of trying to start fights, the worse it gets for them. They want to make picks, start huge team fights off with Sheesh and MTS, and then from there, it's either a won or a lost team fight. It's very, very early. Oh my god, Sheesh.
3 players. Duking it out in the mid. Also already flashes 4. Stun back onto Chump. She's taken low. And they all walk away. They all disengage. Scuttles will be taken. 1 apiece. It's all fair's fair.
This is the most bruised up handshake I've ever seen. They just flash. They go in. They try to get some kills. And then they walk right away. So, doing an okay job. Are they going to try and dive this?
Okay, they take the Scuttle and then they turn their attention to that dragon side.
Okay, Hoon's here.
Forcing them off, trying to get some plates, trying to deny some minion waves as well. Roaming down, coming through from Michael Udall as well. Locks in, well, doesn't lock in the pick a card just yet, actually waiting for the cycle to come through. No one steps up. Back to lanes they go. Excellent priority now. Position coming through in that bot side. A lot of minions denied there, but in the meantime, Sheesh is operating. Secret Agent Cody Banks infiltrating in the jungle.
Oh, Hoon has no mana, so this trade is really important, especially if you're talking about resets. Nice job of interrupting the chain.
Oh, no.
Forces the barrier.
Get the barrier on out, and yikes, just sails in to save the day. Sheesh. Oh, gets spotted out by Charm. An excellent heads-up movement by Charm for Immortals to try and suppress any positioning coming through to dive.
We're looking at this, the supports are just abusing move timers right now. As soon as they know that the support is not in lane, they're in some other lane. You immediately have to rush to another one. A lot of this is focusing around mid lane. If they can get Michael Udall's flash, it means that Twisted Fate becomes that much easier to kill and repeat gank. It's 3 minutes, and it is a stiff, like, just solid, dead even game. And we have got Dragon spawning in a minute, and when you're looking at this, what do Sentinels do to open up the game? Jarvan is not really a great lane bully. Obviously, is now going for the Bruiser build, so won't be packing a lot of damage. But if they can find something, Crystal Arrow again gets the flash. Important for this dragon.
Really, really solid to get that off the Orianna as well. No flash engages, moving that ball in, getting to the backlines, and the shockwaves just tearing you apart. So a great pickup to get that flash. A nice long cooldown for them. Now they can start to try and eke out the pressure. Gold, dead even. No objectives found right now. It's anyone's game.
They shall spawn immediately now. And, I mean, they're taking resets here. I like this Gooman Charm. They want to take control of the Baron lane to start setting themselves up for a Rift Herald. And I think if Immortals play this really close to their chest, what they can do here is their bot lane's going to start up the Rift Herald. They can have Pantheon sit in mid lane with Orianna, and then potentially move over to stop this dragon. But it looks like instead, they're just going to try and take this Rift Herald, finish it off, make the trade, and not get too aggressive with it, which, again, there are the ones with a ticking time clock. They lose out on the side lane, and they need to find kills early on.
Jax does get the Rift Herald. Now they move over towards this Baron side. Beginnings there to stop this dive. You don't really want to be going for it. Even 3v2. Now you've got to worry about
there's the arrow
coming into it as well. There's the arrow. There's the taunt coming in to try and keep them down underneath the turret. There's the hero's entrance to keep them alive. There's more players for reinforcements, and the damage comes in too thick and fast. MCS survives by the skin of his teeth. The Immortals take the top turret and a kill to boot.
Sentinels, what are we doing? I don't really think we should be trying to go for a 2v3 place, 2v4. Okay, well, she just gets interrupted.
What a huge body slam there coming through on Charm. Able to stop the damage coming through, but in comes the Destiny and will be opening the gate. Traded low HP across the board for Immortals. Rest blast cones over the wall into 4. Immediately regrets the decision. There's the spear coming through. Raki Zoro in the wings, but the rest of the Sentinels starting to go for the backup. What a fadeaway for Immortals. And the Sentinels again over aggressive body slam on point for Charm.
That was, again, one of the reasons why this is one of our best supports. We're going to get a replay of that fight. Why are we trying to defend turret with Jarvan Galio. None of these champions do not do damage early, and yes, there's armor penetration on Jarvan, but like you have Galio. It's a magic damage dealing support who's not gonna have a lot of gold, not gonna have a lot of anything early on other than utility. And that right there is like a small misunderstanding, I think, of Sentinels with what their draft can do.
And they weren't even dropping that Destiny to go for 3 players underneath the turret. I mean, it's an interesting position. They definitely wanted to stand and fight. Maybe they miscounted, saw the vision on the map. It feels like, you're right, a little bit of a misstep there for the Sentinels. And an advantage now being found for the Immortals. But it's only 2k, and a lot of that is tied up in that turret push on the top side. So that was traded off for a dragon earlier.
Oh, yikes. No.
Oh, no. That's a dead Pantheon. And that's a really good pickup for the Sentinels. Almost there. That's the difference gone.
Good. They played around their timings. They recognize, hey, if we can find a kill, not only protects Twisted Fate for a little time longer while we're waiting for the flash cooldown to come up, but kills in their back pocket. It gives them some reassurance in this game as it goes on. And taking control of this, they need to find something on Tahun, it looks like. They want to try and hold this wave, protect Michael Udall, because if Twisted Fate is useless or a little bit weaker, I think trying to put all your eggs into the rest basket is going to not end up as you maybe wanted to or expected. So making sure that Twisted Fate is a useful member of your team is so important here for Sentinels.
Dragon spawning not in the too distant future. Waves pushing in on both sides of the map as well right now, so Sentinels need to be a little bit careful.
Oh, the arrow.
Oh, it doesn't quite hit there. Not unfortunate, but Michael Udall with the Hextech Roto Belt dashes forwards, able to get the stun card off, but a lot of ults thrown at the wall, nothing really sticking in this situation. Wow. 24 seconds left on the clock for the spawn of the Drake. Sentinels going to have to...
Oh, they can find a kill here. Rest.
Oh, rest. No. You've overstepped. You've overstayed. Has to Proto Belt a lovely, crucial flash. And they have to get away from it. Mike Udall sails on in and actually forces the flash in response. Rest stays alive with the Honey Fruit.
If Immortals were able to keep Sentinels down just a little bit longer, it would have been good timing for this top turret, or for this dragon. But now they were able to push, grab the turret, get the flash out from Yikes. And now they're able to contest for this. MTS's backing is picked up the Bramble Vest. I wonder if they'll have TP. No, they're just going to walk straight to this objective. So some small errors, I think, from both teams, stopping them from having complete control of the river or being able to respond in kind. And the longer this takes, I mean, the arrow's up again. Oh. It misses, but it's so funny seeing that thing just curve midair.
It's great, isn't it? I mean, I felt like that should have hit. Like, you're really that close. It should be landing in those situations. Rest goes a little bit low, a little bit of poke sent back. And that might be enough for Immortals to be able to just take this Drake without contestation here.
It looks like they're not going to. I mean, they're walking around it. You have Orianna who can take control of the chokes. That is exactly what you love to see coming out from Orianna. They're going to get control of the mid lane, who can just easily cover this. And while topside is kind of just losing out, this is a winning trade for Immortals. They're holding Sentinels in place, and Sentinels not really able or willing to kind of find something on the opposite side of the map.
Sentinels look like they want to fight. It seems like most opportunities they're given, they are trying to engage these. And I think that, to be fair, they might have the edge. If they get a good engage, they have a really solid death ball just to move in. You know, you've got the Galio, the Lee, the Jarvan. That is a team that slides right through you. And then you've got the cards to follow them up, right? And the damage that pours out from both Michael Udall and Rest. It's a really solid death ball engage comp. The question is, can you find those fights? Are you going to be allowed to take those fights?
Until it happens, Immortals are more than comfortable playing with Sentinels kind of being pulled out across the map. It is when Sentinels get into the Deathball comps. Now, we get to see it again. Twisty, twirly, Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands.
There's the Destiny as well, following it up with the gold card, getting that stun. Flash forced back underneath the turret, and the Croc gets away. In the meantime, across the map, what else are they able to achieve? Well, not too much. Cooldown's burnt, though, for the Immortals Baron laner.
And if they want, they can make a defense here onto the mid turret. You see that there's 3 members. They will have vision of all 4 of them. They know that Rocky Zoro is sitting in base. And so it's just going to be a little bit of chip damage, a plate going over, but it is slowly whittling away at Sentinels' defenses in this game.
This is probably one of the closest games we've seen so far today, though. A 3k gold difference at coming up on 11 minutes. It's actually quite minimal. One dragon apiece.
Beg.
Brilliant flashes. Misses with the chains on the Varus, forcing out the flash as well for the Immortals shockwave. Onto rest. Protobelt backwards. Beginnings able to sail away as well. Charges back. The arrow looking to poke on down and sails wide onto Michael Udall. Charm wants to engage in the jungle, but Sheesh just runs away. They turn tail. Nothing doing, nothing really happening there, but mid-wave getting cleared by Immortals.
It's going to be another mid. I think this is just another plate here for Immortals. They're slowly choking them out in gold, getting small advantages across the map. Sentinels, I know we're waiting for maybe one more turret from them to really do something, but they need to actually team fight. You have all these team fight tools. Sheesh can be a kind of like a primary engage for you, where you're going off of the Sonic Wave and letting Begs come in. But until we see MTS group with the team, I don't think we're going to see all that much from Sentinels. They're holding on. They're about 4,000 gold down, but like if you're only down that much gold, you're in a good spot.
I thought that might have been it, but turn around and Yikes is at your back, getting that stun.
Yikes is dead.
Forwards, and there comes the Sonic Wave follow-up. A brilliant flashback as well to keep Sheesh alive. The chains not able to keep him in place long enough. The stun comes through, and Rocky Zorro taken down, actually fairly low. Michael Udell starting to chunk. The cask not going to put rest far enough out of position.
No.
There's the body slam. Too far, too fast, and Charm has to flash back over the wall. A really good turn of events for the fight for Sentinels. They're still almost 3k behind, but they're starting to turn it around in some of these engagements.
If they cannot find a kill in the first couple of abilities used...
big stun!
Right there.
Oh, dear. And that is going to be it. A brilliant pickup there. Moving around very, very fast. Goom steps forwards too far. Charm, what are you doing there? You don't want to be involved in this at all.
They're trying to find something. They got the Pantheon ult, but the fact that they can't connect onto kills, we're seeing it. Sentinels can have a really good response, and they're still down in gold. They are picking up kills left and right, but it's 20 seconds. They're going to come back onto the map, and they're just abusing Rest's Ash right now, because this ultimate is up every like 40 seconds, especially now with the Black Cleaver, the amount of ability haste that you have on this champion. It's such a great tool to find picks. Sentinels are, staying in this game. They're staying relevant, trying to punish Immortals for what looks like some pretty greedy positioning.
And with Pantheon's ult on half a cooldown now, Dragon is on the cards for Sentinels. Without that global pressure, without that sweeping damage coming through the team fight. An excellent stun. It's eaten by Charm.
Oh, the
what
kick!
Is that dash? How did he get all the way back there? Kicks back into the lines, and in comes the hero's entrance. GA getting activated, and Michael Udell slicing through. Hoon low, stays alive. The Varus keeping everyone locked up. The Shockwave not finding too much, and Immortals might be able to turn the tide to the battle. The taunt is good, but in come the damage from the rest of the Immortal squad. MTS trying to 1v3 and doing a hell of a job at it as well. Actually being able to do so much work for the team. One player standing for Sentinels, 2 players alive right now for the Immortals. In comes the flag, the drag in towards Iraqi Zorro, and he's going to back off. Sentinels stay alive, but they lose and go down a player on the fight.
Yikes is just too low. He can't start up this fight, and we're seeing it here. I mean, it's a great team fight. They miss out on some key ultimates from both teams. But the fact of the matter is Sentinels still have a really good scaling composition. They're not able to kill the damage dealers. We're going to have a replay of that fight. And I wanted everybody to just take a look at what the damage dealers are able to do for both of these teams. I think Goom had a fantastic time pumping out damage, and that's why we saw them take an early objective trade. But sheesh, I mean, the young 16-year-old jungler able to do stuff like this, like, just how sick is this? That is a massive amount of terrain that's just crossed.
Incredible mobility on this Lee Sin to be able to get Hoon out of position, but they weren't able to capitalize. And then the AoE damage just did so much work. I think Beginnings might have been stopped short there by that Shockwave and a 3-player taunt. That gave MTS the chance to 1v3. That was pretty close to Yikes going down there as well. In the midst of it all, they came off all the worse. A 4-for-3 trade.
I wonder if we're going to have to hire the Dragon as like a 6th member to a team. Because Dragon was doing... We've seen a lot of objective fights where like the objective is just like hammering away. That's typically what Baron is able to do. But I like this, talking about this Dragon right now, because Sentinels, they're playing on the side lane right now. They have the ultimate. It has gone wide, but the entire time Michael Udall can continue to split. I think they recognize this Dragon is not theirs, but I mean, they're not losing anything for it other than this Drake. If they're not able to get a turret, Sentinels are going to be very comfortable with this.
There's a sombrero as well coming through. Twisted Fate able to get a lot of pressure over in the Dragon side, over in the Baron side.
Oh,
sorry,
TF run!
Oh, he's going in. There's the Destiny. That is so much damage.
Oh my god!
Goodness me, able to get it off even before he teleports out with the Destiny. There's no way you can get away from the Croc as soon as he pops that ult. There's so much damage pouring out.
Twisted Fate just like UPS shipped his dead body to somewhere on the rift.
Oh dear.
Because he's already teleported away, so now he's just gone. And now this means that Sentinels get their mid-tier taken.
Oh, what a pick as well. Excellent cast, excellent CC, and this is Immortals coming alive.
There it is. They're finding picks. They're getting Sentinels on an awkward back foot. And now with 2 members down, they're going to start up the Baron. They do this very quickly. And it is up to Sentinels. How can they stop this? I like this.
No.
Find picks.
Oh, I said, oh no, maybe I'll have to rethink that. A lot of AoE damage coming through. Beginnings does go down.
It's
MTS trying to slide on through. Sheesh still going low now as well, and they will sacrifice the jungle. He's going to go golden. MTS can no way going to be able to find that, but Michael Udall being alive might stop the Baron at least.
Silver lining, exactly. That 2 members have to, all of the members of Immortals have to reset. They cannot go for this Baron. It stops them just from being able to get that. It's the best possible part of that play, but we're going to get a replay of it. This is a dangerous spot here that I think Sentinels find them in, where rest is constantly being found, not able to survive, and I like how they're playing defense for this objective, just making sure that multiple members of Sentinels cannot get near the pit.
I mean, Beginnings got caught, and they tried to throw bodies at that to make it go one way or the other, but in the end they ended up just losing more than probably anything else that they would have gained there. MTS not able to do too much on this Jarvan right now. Oh, Baron got taken.
Hey, we're back, and Baron is gone. So, I mean, cool. Sentinels now in a pretty tough spot. I mean,
oh yeah,
they are trying to look for picks. They're trying to find something. I don't think Lee Sin has really had... We saw one great team fight from them, but other than that, it's been kind of coming up a little bit short. We still haven't seen them really activate something like a Lee Sin with the Jarvan and the Twisted Fate. Until then, I mean, I keep saying it. I feel like I'm a broken record at this point, but like, they need to actually utilize the tools in their composition. Otherwise, Immortals are going to continue to do this, which is just choke them out of the game.
Finding these small advantages. How much damage is poured onto Shisha's there? Goodness me. Rocky Zoro takes a little bit of a chunk, but managing to stack up that health bar now, a little bit harder to take care of. And the wave's just pushing in with the Baron buff as well. That's a lot of damage hitting the turrets.
They've got multiple waves. Now Rest needs to find an arrow, strike true into the hearts of Immortals. Otherwise, who's the better archer? It looks like it's going to be Goom this time around, but we're fighting.
Okay. Pantheon ulting in behind the turret, trying to displace Sheesh, but he's back under safety. Maybe a little bit too far, but the damage is good. Goes golden, has the GA still available. Looks to res, back and behind, and maybe, as I say, too far in. Coming through for the Immortal squad. Damage still yet to come through. Mikey Udell low on that mana, and actually, they get a kill. They get 2. They get a turret. How did they manage to pull that one out? I'll never know.
They've got a huge wave here, and I think this is Immortal sending us to game 3. They didn't want to go down without a fight. They said, Sentinels, we've beaten you time and time again. We may have given you a freebie in game 1. We're going to make you work for it. We're going to make sure that your invitation is worth it here. As they finally blow up the Nexus, Sentinel's not able to put up a good enough response. So just in case if one of these teams do end up dropping, they will still have a chance to qualify. It is top 4 make it to NA Regionals, but obviously making it a little bit easier on yourself and just winning this series is always a little less nerve-wracking, especially for Sentinels, who have been in that spot so many times before this, where they're in the losers bracket after an early exit and they just barely aren't able to make top 4. It has been heartbreaking each and every time, but I'm sure all of them are wanting to keep that. And for Immortals, same thing. They've been in top 4 every single time, but has not been able to make that push to the top 2, and I know that they're looking for it.
Not quite just yet, but only time will tell. I'll have to test their metal here. The side swap coming through for the first time in this series. Sentinels now playing on blue. Rakan, the first ban. Immortals, they don't want to play against this Olaf.
Aw, damn. No Olaf this time. It makes me sad, but like we saw it already from Immortals. They don't want to do it. They don't want to get rid of it. Now Sentinels, this is really strange to me because they are the ones that have been playing Ashe throughout their series, all throughout today. This means that they don't want to prioritize it. I think they want to try and go for something like the Varus again, but I just don't know if that's really the kind of style I want to see out from Reston Beg. It'd be awesome, but if we're just talking about like I want a quick cash grab, I just want to get my win and cash out. I don't want to see them on like a traditional marksman.
Well, there you go. You're not going to see a Varus because it just got banned.
Let's go.
On the Sentinels. Are we going to see the Ori Galio bot lane that we saw like before? Are they going to try and play something off meta? Is Brand going to come back into the mix of Michael Udell? Riven taken away by the Immortals. So that's heavily different sides of the map being focused in the ban phase.
I think now Sentinels are in a really awkward spot where they want to first pick Twisted Fate. You also have Senna, which it looks like they're going to be the ones to go towards. Now, Sentinels, they have played Senegalio. They could also maybe play it with Orianna, but Immortals just snap that up. And for Sentinels, what is your response onto the top side? You have a Baron laner that you can answer towards. We were talking about this off air. Brand might just be the better control mage.
Like, I feel like he might be in this situation. I mean, he has a similar sort of style in terms of positioning in a team fight of presence as well, but he's got more consistent CC, he's got excellent burst damage, and he's got great solo potential as well. Orianna maybe a little bit more reliant on team positioning, whereas Brand, you get caught out by a Brand, that pillar of flame comes up underneath your feet, and you're like, I done goofed real bad, and you just die. Like, it's so annoying to deal with, honestly. It's the worst thing.
Sorry, mama. I done goofed. This is the last message you shall hear from me before I goof away. As John, we're at the end of our series here. Last game before we send one of these teams to top 4 and another to the lower bracket. We get to see Brand power slide into the mid lane. That's always my favorite part of watching the spectate happen. But same matchup topside. This time, Araki Zoro early flash taken away.
Yeah, they're going to back the Jarvan into this matchup. I mean, they changed up to bring a Graves, a massive burst potential of damage there in that jungle position. They've got as well the Nami on side for beginnings, which means that, which is something that has been banned fairly consistently, it has to be said, against the Sentinels. So, needs to pop off here.
Oh, no. This invade going south is huge.
Big flash.
The fact that they're not able to get that, oh my god, that's got to be back-breaking for the jungle now, because, I mean, Yikes is now going to have to restart the camp, restart their blue buff, and this entire time, Sheesh is just taking jungle camps from this top quadrant and can now triple jungle onto Immortals and make it so difficult for Xin Zhao to get a foothold in this game.
Didn't finish that Raptor camp as well on the top side. Didn't take the red buff either. So maybe
that's just a visual thing.
Jungle. Oh, okay,
it is taken. It is just a visual thing, so you're good.
Okay, that was my bad. I'll try and remember what they have taken there. Mid lane pressure as well. The triple jungle trying to come through from Sheesh, and this is the carry jungler, right? That we have known and have seen so much today from. Put him on a Graves. That is a carry jungler if I ever did see. You might not be on that Camille. You might not be on that Lee Sin, but this guy can pop off.
This feels so strange to me though, John, because like I look at Sentinel's draft, and if I were to like take nameplates off, I would have thought this was the first majors from the first circuit, and this is a Cloud9 draft. You have Graves, no one else is playing Graves but them. And now we see Sheesh being one to pick it up. Like you said, it is a carry jungler. And with someone like Nami behind you, the amount of movement speed you get from her spells, the slows you can apply, is definitely really awesome, especially with Senna in your back pocket. This bot lane is built to support others, and we're going to have to see it. Can they actually connect onto that and turn that into their team composition, or do they get lost in the sauce with Immortals trying to just fight them?
It's tricky, and it's down to the wire. It's all in Last Chance Saloon right now as well, because it's 1-on-1 in the series. A ticket to the NA Regionals on the cards for whoever wins this game on this draft. But I have to say, I feel like I'm backing the brand. I'm sticking to my prediction of Sentinels right now. Having seen this draft, having seen the games that we've seen just now, Are you gonna back Are you gonna back the prediction earlier, or are you gonna swap sides?
Yeah,
Are
of
you gonna go
course.
Immortals?
What? We never, what is it? We don't change our predictions afterwards. I'm not taking the coward's way out. I don't think Immortals' quality of gameplay so far has really shown me that, they're able to take this. MTS just have to blow the flash after using the flag and drag. So good punish from IMT, but I think the quality of play, to be fair, we've seen now two different series from Sentinels, so we have more data to work with, but I've been more impressed on average by Sentinels so far.
I feel like they've been tighter, they've been cleaner. In that last game, it felt
Yes.
like Immortals got some more kills and did the bigger number, better person strategy, potentially trying to roll down those fights. Which, I mean, it works, so you can't argue with the results really. But in the long run,
Results-based
Sentinels,
analysis is good.
Exactly. I mean, in the long run, you might struggle there. Nice stun
Oh,
being
he's
landed,
dead.
and that's so much damage. Flash burnt from Hoon.
Oh,
And there's the final blow. Excellent ult coming through from Sheesh, and that is a really well coordinated pressure. And that's what we're talking about, right? With the solo potential. I mean, I know there was another guy, but that's the solo potential of the brand. CC for days. Graves just pops in, and that's a carry jungler as well.
If Hoon got that ultimate off, I think that would have been a 1-for-1 trade. But alas, Sentinels, they make out like thieves. And they're going to get the Rift Herald here. Kind of a change of pace, where Immortals have really started to focus for these Rift Heralds. I think it's very important when you look at Sentinels that they're able to get this gold and turn it into something tangible. Usually it's just a topside turret, but I think when you look at Sentinels and how they've played with Rift Heralds, they've been waiting and saving it to make it useful for a potential another objective play so far.
The wave clear from Brand really strong, able to keep those shoved. Try and challenge on that Drake. I mean, sure, Immortals were able to pick that up. But still, great presence so far across the map. With that triple jungle as well, you're leaving Yikes a little bit further behind. Sheesh now maybe a little bit equalized on, though.
It looks like they're just making plays. Michael Udall recognizes, hey, probably not going to do anything. Needs to be careful on this bot lane. When you look at this dragon lane, they're pushing up really, really far. And while they do have a ward on them, could be very dangerous. You see the pings coming out. They know. They say, hey, we're going to get dived. So let's just back up. It's not worth dying for. The wave is not that. It's not worth a kill and some more experience, potentially a plate going down. So good for them. And Sheesh is just constantly counter jungling. Has 1,000 gold in the jungle. Michael Udall flashes a shockwave.
Nicely found. The center from the bot lane trying to have global presence, but Sheesh pops into another dimension and borrows all the damage of an Eldritch Horror by the looks of things.
Oh,
I
yes.
have no idea how he found that. There's the tidal wave, and Rest starts to chunk on in, but a trade comes through. Meanwhile, from the top side of the map, that's going to be another shutdown. And MTS rolls on through. The Herald dropped in mid under pressure.
That's 3 kills instantly for Sentinels. 2 turret plates, and they're making the dive now. They want this turret.
They are keeping on going, keeping on trucking. Yikes tries to zone them away. The turret stays alive and no kills found. So actually, all things considered, a good result for Immortals. But they've still gone down across the overall macro trade.
They've lost out on gold. Their bot lane dying there. And, I mean, Sheesh is doing so much damage. All right, we're going to get a replay of that. I just want to see Yikes disappear off my screen. Like, I know we don't have Twisted Fate this time, and typically we associate them with the Magician, but just look at Yikes' health bar during all this. Good flash from Michael, but, I mean, you blink and
Where
it's
did it
gone.
go? I mean, Michael Udall must have helped there. There's no way that just a Bloodthirster on a Graves can do that. This can't be. That's got to be illegal, if it is.
It might have been a crit.
Maybe. But he was quite far away. I don't know. I'd have to look at that back in slow-mo, but goodness me, that is a lot of pop damage being felt in this mid.
Usually if that happens to me, we just say that's a jungle diff. It's just what's going to happen, right? Like, I have a Graves who's 2-0-1, picking up a Zeal item. They're looking strong, but Dragon spawning in the next minute and a half here. We got to see how Immortals will respond. They're still in this game, and they still have a lot of avenues to play for. Remember, we're looking for those big team fights with Kai'Sa, with this Orianna, and for how Charm interacts with Yikes. If they can get this rolling, they still have a chance, and they can still take a game victory here.
Looking at who they're getting rolling on, though, the Graves. Such a snowball heavy. champion in this mid game, right? Maybe struggles a little bit towards the super late game, but such a heavy hitter. If you can get that brand, that center alive, that's where you're going to really have problems for Immortals.
We'll have to see it. I want to see it from Sentinels. They've played some good late game series, specifically up against Immortals, but we need to see them turn it into wins. Yes, we see that you can hang with some of the best, but unless you can turn those into victories, it's basically a meaningless stat for all that matters. So, Immortals now giving up some pressure. Hoon did just reset,
Flash.
and that means flashes are going to be traded. They have priority onto this Drake, but take a look where certain members are. MTS will not get here in time compared to Araki Zoro, and they're all leaning onto the bot side. When Hoon gets here, this is a completely different fight for Immortals.
But Sheesh has so much damage. You've got Michael Udell. Look at that, hiding in the brush. There's no vision. Needs to get to the back line. Gets the stun. Gets the Pyroclasm off as well. With the shockwave to trade. And in comes the damage. Sheesh, look at her keep on picking up. Michael Udell flashes away. Stays safe. The root is there. Onto the Renekton. And Araki Zoro is going to fall as well. Sheesh stays alive. He's controlling 3 players on the enemy team. And it is devastation again. Sentinels pick up more and more every fight.
Oh no, it's just heartbreaking for Araki Zoro. He's sitting in that back line. He wanted to do a little bit of an MTS cosplay where he's in the middle of 3 members, he's fighting, and he finds kills. He's an unkillable crocodile. But MTS, I mean, does a little bit of a better job this time on the Jarvan. We're gonna get a replay of this dragon, and both teams are heading back out onto this. So we'll have a little bit of time as most of these teams are redeploying. Take a look at how they trade, and honestly, how long Sheesh lives in this fight. The shockwave doesn't land until much later. And I mean, we're talking about brand damage, but just a Pyroclasm lit up this backline.
Now it looks like we're going to get another fight right off the bat, and the army falls very, very quickly. Sentinels losing their support, losing that tidal wave pressure as well. Looking for the root. It looks like they're going to find it. The orb to get a little bit of shielding onto Hoon. And the mid lane pressure now. Drake's still on the cards, and it looks like that's what Immortals want.
Good luck to Sentinels getting back into this. They don't have any vision, and you're fighting Orianna for choke control. This is a super dangerous game as Araki Zoro goes in.
Brand trying to chunk out the damage, but teammates falling, and a great engage from Immortals on the backline.
They're
MTS
just dead.
trying to find a kill, trying to find a trade. We'll be able to get it, and actually the redemption keeps Sheesh alive yet again, so no shutdown gold, but with that, Immortals back into the gold lead. They are turning things around.
Sentinels being a little dizzy there. They don't need to fight that. I don't know if they recognize that, hey, we don't really have access to it. I understand that they want to get vision, but with Beggs going down there, take control of the side lane, take control of top lane, make sure that you're getting mid priority, and make Immortals sweat for it. If they're going to get the dragon, you don't want to go for it at that point. You're kind of just walking into how they want to go for it, and we've got the replay of that, but I mean, this is just like Immortals playing very, very well and playing exactly to their team composition and what they want.
You spoke about how this is trying to play into an Orianna with choke control. Immediately, Araki Zoro just turns around and goes, dinner? And then just eats Sentinels. It's brutal, right? And it is a misstep there by Sentinels. Anything
you can do, I can do better. You got 2 top laners who are willing to play Renekton and kind of be massive carries for their team. And end of the day, we'll see who's the better Renekton, right? Sentinels may have gotten the better of them in game 1, but Araki Zoro wanting to make their stamp here in game 2, or in game 3.
And what a time to do it as well. With NA regionals on the line. You don't want to be hanging about. You don't want to be leaving anything to chance. Now's the time to make your mark. Lane pressure now becomes the focus.
And looking at this, Beg's got to be careful. We've already seen it. And look at how dangerous this is. I mean, we talked about this combo. The mid jungle is huge, and when you're playing around Yikes, this is a composition built for him to succeed.
Flash being burnt from Michael Udell. Rest tries to keep everyone alive, and will be able to do it for now. Zoning away, Araki Zoro on the sidelines, and Sheesh needs to be careful. Backing it up, the top lane turret. There's no way you save that Baron turret. There's just no way. So
yeah, and this is the dangerous spot. They need to be able to cut it in half. They get Hoon.
Okay, they managed to get him in that Cataclysm. Hoon gets away from it, flashing back.
Yeah, he actually just dodged all of their skill shots. Hoon with the fancy feet. This is a guy who's been coming from other esports, has been top challenger, and is an upcoming streamer. Hoon is an interesting character, definitely a celebrity. And if you watched their introduction video to getting Hoon, it was I think Immortals did a very good job content wise with how they introduced him. So Hoon is superstar in their own right in the mobile esports scene, and glad to see that. I mean, still, it's got the movements, making it look pretty easy for him to dodge all of it.
Just can't touch him. He's ethereal. Very difficult
No
to
crypto?
deal with a player like
All
that.
right.
Sorry. No, that's.
I don't think we're allowed.
That's not. That's an not
That's
an owl.
Yes.
Let's see where the confusion
It's close
is. Though.
enough.
Certainly is. Beginnings. Oh, gets caught. Has to flash away. Goes down. And the wild growth means that Yikes can just run away. Great pickup. No tidal wave yet again. And Beginnings gets caught.
Michael's
once
dead.
more. Speaking of getting caught, Michael Ludell stays alive against all the odds. Yikes goes low. Moon as well, actually taking quite a chunk of damage. Maybe meaning that Baron isn't quite on the cards, especially if Iraqi Zoro gets chunked out. Contestation potential
That has
there.
to just be Baron, no? Like,
I feel like that
this is
a little bit too low.
Maybe, but it looks like they're just going to go for a redeploy. So they're going to back, maybe pick up, finish some items here and get ready for an Ocean Drake that's spawning in over 30 seconds. But now Sentinels find themselves in a pretty dire straits now in this game. You're in game 3, you're down 6,000 gold, and you're constantly getting out team fought, out rotated, just outplayed thanks to how the composition is built by Immortals. And you need to find something. Sheesh had an early advantage, but it is all just evaporating in front of their eyes as Sentinels maybe going down to the losers bracket, and Immortals in major history keeping it a 3-0 for them.
I mean, she still is 3-0-2, hasn't died yet. A lot of gold on this Graves. Still being caught up to by a lot of the enemy team. I feel like a lot of fights. This has been Beginnings getting caught at the start on this Nami. I think it was 2 fights that they played without Tidal Wave, and around these objectives, it's so important as a tool.
Beginnings going down every single time before these fights is not what you want to see from the support of Sentinels. Obviously, it's important to not only have the tidal wave, but just to have that 5th member who can heal, provide shielding. I say that Beginnings getting engaged upon is down immediately.
Yet again, no tidal wave into the fight, but some damage can start to go through. A nice route onto 2 might pin them in place for some damage, but no, they turn around, and it's sheesh kebabbed on the menu again. Immortals going to be able to find 2 kills and move their way over to Baron.
That's it. I think that's just the nail in the coffin here for Sentinels. They can't find a team fight victory. They're not able to stand tall against Immortals. And after a pretty good early game, Immortals make a defense. They find themselves a Baron and now are going to balloon their lead past the 10,000 mark.
So hard to deal with. Once you break that barrier, it's almost insurmountable. But if they can find a good fight with the tidal wave, I mean, it can all change on a good fight here. You can pop Hoon, you can pop Gume, but then you've got the wild growth to eat through as well. There's so much shielding with the Orianna, with the Lulu. It's very, very hard to make this work.
Sadly, unlike in PC, there is no shield Serpent's Fang item. So there's no ability to cut shielding in half. You only have your Grievous Wounds items. And right now, you're seeing it only Sheesh has it. But with all the shielding that's going on top of Yikes, it's going to get more and more difficult. I mean, Charm is going to pick up more items. Now has the Zeke's Convergence, which was just recently patched on this patch, and it's pretty good. The item is looking pretty sick. It's finally an item that I think a lot of supports can build, and Charm being one of them, taking it up for themselves. You're going to see it, Sentinels just slowly getting bled out of this one.
Ooh,
a good find and a good escape, but yeah.
Not going to hit anything with the shockwave there. But the waves just crashing and keeping the pressure up. All 3 waves Baron buffed up, and Iraqi... Goodness me. Iraqi Zoro just standing in the front of 3 players and being like, yeah, and what? What are you going to do about it?
Oh my god, Brand.
Okay, Michael
Yikes just
dies. And this is Immortals dealing the final blow, right? You said you wanted to see them just throw hands, and I feel like that's what you're getting right now. Immortals punching down a weight class by the looks of this game. Sentinels last-ditch fight to try and find something to shockwave onto the backline, onto 3. Sheesh finds 1, traded off, but Beginnings is going down, and he's running away from the Nexus. There is no solace there, my friend. The Sentinels will fall, and the Immortals will outlast 2-1, the reverse sweep, as Sentinels book their ticket to the lower bracket. We will find Immortals